Every month, I spend about 10 minutes reviewing 7 numbers. Those 7 numbers tell me whether my retirement income is getting stronger or weaker, whether I'm becoming too dependent on one investment, and whether I'm actually on track for retirement. Today, I'm going to show you every one of those numbers and why they matter. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Simply Money. I think one of the biggest mistakes investors make is focusing on the wrong numbers. We check our account balance, watch the markets go up and down, and celebrate when our portfolio hits a new high. But none of those things tell us if our retirement plan is actually improving. Over the last few years, I've found that there are 7 numbers that give me a much clearer picture. They tell me if my income is growing, if I'm taking on too much risk, if one investment has become too important, and if my portfolio is getting healthier or moving in the wrong direction. As we go through each one, I'm going to show you exactly how I track them, and more importantly, why they matter. Whether you use a notebook, your own spreadsheet, or the system I use, my goal is that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look at each month to become a more confident retirement investor. Let's start with the numbers I think matter most, because your account tells you how much money you have. These 7 numbers tell you how healthy your retirement really is. First, we're going to look here at the Simply Money Portfolio Manager. This is the system I've created to put these numbers in an easy to find place. A lot of these numbers you can find in different brokerages. You just have to bounce around, and I've had different spreadsheets that I've used. And I wanted to compile all this into one portfolio manager with a quick view of everything we're going to be looking at. The first thing I look at every month is not portfolio value, but income. I ask myself, if I retired today, what paycheck would my portfolio produce? And that's where this portfolio manager comes in. This is the Simply Money Portfolio Manager. These are available down below in the link in the description at Buy Me a Coffee. All of our spreadsheets are available there. But on this dashboard, I have a quick view right here. What is my annual income? And this isn't my actual portfolio. I just threw this together for a demonstration to be able to show you this. I will be showing you when we do our monthly updates. If you follow the channel, once a month I do an update on our income portfolio. I'm going to be using this new portfolio manager system to show you that each and every month. So you'll see my actual portfolio on that when we do the next update. But right now I wanted to just get this out to you and let you see this. And this would be the first thing you can look at is your annual income, or if you want to break it down to monthly income, this just shows you what it is. And so that is the quick view, shows you your portfolio value and all that good stuff. But this is the first thing I want to look at every month. What is my annual income? Because that is what's really going to determine my retirement. Not just how much my value is, but what is it producing? So that is number one thing I look at. The second thing I look at is the portfolio yield. Not because higher is always better, because changes can reveal shifts in the portfolio or distribution trends. And you can see right here, we have this card showing you what the portfolio yield is. Again, this is not accurate to what is actually there. I just threw this as an example for you, but it shows you right here, based on this portfolio, what is the yield that it's producing. So that is number 2. The second thing we're going to look at is what is my portfolio yield? The third thing I want to look at when I'm looking at my portfolio is my income efficiency. See, because 2 portfolios with the same income can have very different efficiency. What do I mean by income efficiency? Let's go over here to the income report and see that right down here in this tab. As you scroll down, we have this table right here that gives us some vital metrics. It says our highest income efficiency, according to this, is QLDY, and it shows in this portfolio that it is making up 98% of my income. So the note would say that's excellent income efficiency, meaning QLDY, for the amount that it's invested, it is producing a tremendous amount of income. And so that would be a high efficiency. Once you build the portfolio out and it will balance, you may have something that you have a large amount of money in, but it's producing very little income. That would show you that your income efficiency is not very high. And so that is just a number that I like to look at. And that is the third thing I look at. The fourth thing, which is very similar, is my income concentration. What happens if your biggest income producer cuts its distribution tomorrow? And that's where this number can come in and show you and help you focus on this. Right here, we have our income concentration, which shows it to be high because in this make-believe portfolio, 100% of the income is concentrated in one fund. So all of the income is coming from one fund. What happens if, in this scenario, QLDY cut their income? Your income would be drastically cut. What if they did away with it altogether? Your income would be impacted. So this income concentration, I like to be diversified, and I'll show you on the second portfolio. It's not quite done yet, but it'll show you these different transactions and how this shifts and changes. But income concentration is very important. The fifth thing I want to look at, and this may seem irrelevant to you when you're looking at your portfolio, but it's my portfolio health score. And what that is, when you look at this, come over to this tab for health, and it is asking these questions. Are my target allocations 100% set? Meaning when I set up my portfolio, say I have 4 funds and I want them each to have 25%, if I forget to set one, it will notify me and it'll say that you didn't pass and it'll indicate what's missing. Also, it's checking missing dividend frequency. When you set this up, you get to choose like SCHD, it pays quarterly. Chippy, it pays weekly. So you choose those frequencies and this will let you know, did you forget to set that? Also, missing average cost. When you're entering in your initial portfolio, it's going to ask you what is your average cost basis, because it is going to be tracking how you're doing over time. This is designed to be able to set up from where you're at today and track it forward to see how you're progressing on your average cost, on your yield, on your income, all these different metrics. It's going to track. Once you set this up, there's very little you have to do. It's going to track all of these metrics for you. It's also checking missing live price. On the portfolio tab, we'll see that in a minute. It shows you the live price of each of your tickers. So if one of those is missing, obviously it'll throw off some of the metrics. It lets you know there's some things missing in that. Maybe SPYI isn't updating or you didn't put that in. So you need to make sure that is populated so you're getting your live price. It'll show you if you have a negative available cash. It also shows here, do I have duplicate tickers? And what this will be, if I have SCHD, did I put that in twice? Unless it's in a different account. If I have SCHD in my Bank 1 and SCHD in Bank 2, I can have that. It's making sure I don't have multiple in the same bank. And then this other thing it checks here is holding missing from setup. So if I have holdings that I'm putting transactions in for, but I didn't put it in my setup, it's going to ask me to set that up to make sure my portfolio is built. So the health is an important part because as you're looking at metrics, metrics are only as good as the information, the data that it's pulling out. And if the data is skewed and these things are missing, you're not going to get accurate metrics. The sixth thing I look at is my largest income producer. As I come over to the income report, what is my highest income producer? Right here it says QLDY, which is producing this amount annually. So again, if I had 30 tickers in there and it's calculating how much each one's paying, it's going to show you what my largest producer is. Also shows me my highest current yield, highest yield on cost. Those aren't as important, but I did want to throw them in there. And then highest retirement paycheck percentage. So if my paycheck is coming from 10 different funds, which one is the highest percentage? I want to keep an eye on that because if I'm retired and my income in the highest slot, highest allocation gets cut, that could impact me more than others. So I want to keep an eye on that. So those are the 6 things that we look at. We're going to talk about the 7th here in a moment. But before we do, I want to give you an overview of this portfolio manager. Again, this is new. It's compiling all the information that I typically use into one easy tracking device. A lot of people have asked for something that they can track their portfolio. So let me just walk you through this very quick. This is, again, the dashboard. It's going to show you your total portfolio value, what the actual portfolio invested amount is, and then how much available cash you have. So those will be, obviously, these two added up will be your total value in the accounts. Your annual income being produced and your monthly income. Now remember, when you go ahead and set this up, it is going to build this. This is a tracking device. So moving forward, it's going to become more and more dynamic. When you first set it up, it's going to show 0 because you haven't earned any income yet. It's not going off what you expect to earn. It's building off as you put in these transactions of what's actually happening. And so your monthly and annual income will increase as you receive dividends. You will put those in, and this will begin to track it and build this for you. It'll also show you your portfolio yield. And again, as you put those transactions in, that will grow. And once you have month over month to be able to track, you'll get the more accurate, what is my yield now? What is my income now? You'll also be able to track that for going forward. So that's just the quick dashboard. If you did buy this, this is what you would do. You come in here, you name it. So I named it demo. You can name it my portfolio, whatever you want. What's starting cash balance in your brokerage accounts? How much cash do you have? This isn't your total balance. This is cash available. And if you have multiple accounts, maybe you have a Schwab and a Fidelity and a Vanguard, you want to put all of those in and add those up, and that is your starting cash balance. Then down here, this is the setup. This is the initial. Once I buy this, this is what I have to set up to get started. I put in what institution. I just put in Bank 1, Bank 2, and Bank 3. What account? In Bank 1, I have my Roth. Maybe I have in Bank 1 a Roth and an IRA. So I can separate those as two different accounts in one institution. In Bank 2, I have a brokerage. In Bank 3, I have just an IRA. And then in each of those accounts, what symbol, what ticker is in there, I just plop that in. How many shares do I have starting out? So I just put in what are the shares I have currently today when I fill this out, and what is my average cost. And if you go on like Schwab or Fidelity, it should show you what your cost basis is. If you want to do the work and go back to when you started with 0, and then you have to go in and put every transaction, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing 9 years back, entering all this in. I'm going from today, I'm putting this in, and I'm going to track forward. I know where I'm at today. I know where I've come from. I've been tracking that. So for me, I'm just putting it in, and now I'm going from today forward using this system. If you haven't been doing it for long, maybe you want to do that. Maybe you go back a year, and then you got to put in every distribution and everything that's happened. It'll be a little bit of work. But if you really want to track it, that is something you can do. After you put in your average cost, you put in your target allocation. What percentage do I want this to be at? That way you can track, am I getting too heavy or too light in one area? Maybe I want to take my distributions and redirect them somewhere else to make sure that I keep those allocations about where I planned on having them. And then here's that dividend frequency I talked about. You can choose, just select here, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or even twice weekly like QLDY. That's it. Once you put that in, it is set up. Moving from there, you'd come over to your transactions, and this is where you would track things on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. So if I get a dividend, I put the date I got the dividend. Right here, I select the type. It's dividend. I can also select if I'm buying or selling. Maybe I'm making a deposit. Maybe I just put in $1,000 and it's sitting in cash. I put it in there. Maybe I need some money out, so I take money out. Did I buy or sell? Every transaction. So if I sell something and I get $1,000 and then I withdraw that because I need the cash, that would be 2 transactions, a sell transaction and a withdrawal transaction. That way you're keeping everything, because if you just do the sell transaction, that money is sitting in there showing cash available. So let's just say that we did today, I'm going to do the 30th of June. We're going to say we got a dividend today. And let's see, we will go with QQQI from our Roth. So we'll just say Bank 1, Roth, QQQI, let's say that it paid, let's say 0.56 cents per share. It shows you how much based on, because remember you put in that you have 1,311 shares. See what it did there? You put in the share distribution share amount. It told you that you had transaction amount of $734.19. Right here, I want to reinvest. So it's taking that distribution and it's reinvesting it back in. It will add that to my share count in the portfolio rundown, which we'll look at in a minute. That's all you do. Perhaps I want to take it as cash. Let me show you that real quick. Right now we show cash 150. Let's say we got this distribution and we're keeping it as cash. Come back here. Now it shows 884, cash available, because I put that transaction that I wanted as cash. If I redirect it, then I come over here and I tell destination, so SCHD 100% and how much I'm going to pay for it. So I just put that in there, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going reinvest. So it's simple. I reinvested it. It shows over here in portfolio, everything you have entered up to this point. It's got all the symbols that we had put in over here in the portfolio when I built this. All the symbols are there. So all the symbols come over here and they're alphabetized for ease, what my current share count is. As you can see, QQQI is 1311.05. So you have to put in what the price you paid on it was. Let's just say it was $56. And then what we have to do here is we have to just take, this is the amount of the distribution, divide it by the share price, and that'll tell us how many new shares we have. So if I take $734.19, divide it by the share price of $56, it gives me 13.11 new shares. So once you put in your transactions, you can come over here to the portfolio. It's tracking everything for you. This is just updating every time you do a transaction. Every time there's a dividend, every time there's a deposit, and you buy or sell, it is tracking your portfolio with some of these main metrics for you. You can see the symbol, you can see the current updated shares now. If you compare it to where we built it, let's, for example, look at QQQI. We built it, we started with 1,311 shares, but because we've done some transactions with QQQI, we now have 1,424 shares. Shows you the average cost that you've paid with buys, with reinvest. Shows the current price. Shows what the market value is. Shows you what you've gained or lost and your gain or loss percentage. Shows your current yield, your yield on cost, your annual income, your monthly income from each of these individual funds, what percentage of your retirement contribution is coming from each of these funds, and then what allocation percentage you have of your portfolio in each of the funds. So this is a really nice place to be able to see everything. And then obviously here we have our income versus allocation. All you're doing is updating these transactions. So when you get a dividend, when you buy, when you sell, when you put cash in, when you take cash out, you just make those transactions here. Each time you do that, and your portfolio automatically updates. Then you can come over to the income report. And what that is doing is it is also updating automatically every time that you go ahead and make a transaction. It is calculating that into all of the figures. So it's looking at what your annual income is based on what you've been collecting. So it will average the last 12 months. If there's not 12 months, it annualizes it. And then it obviously figures out your monthly. You can see here now our portfolio yield is up to 10.5%. And we have 13 funds producing income. Then again, it ranks our income by fund based on the amount of annual income. It is ranked by income this way. So you can see what are my biggest earners and which ones are bringing me in the least income. And then down here again on the highlights, it has these wonderful opportunities for you just quick glance, see what's my largest income producer, etc. Again, the highest retirement paycheck percentage or income concentration being moderate. And so it just gives you a lot of quick information. Don't forget to come over, you check your health, make sure everything's going good here. For example, when I was doing this a moment ago, I accidentally put in AMDW, I put AWDM, just not thinking, fingers got going too fast typing, and I came over here and it showed that there was something messed up, and I was able to go and see that the transaction ticker exists in a portfolio that wasn't in the setup. So it's just a quick way to catch mistakes that you might make. And here's the great part, and this is where The longer you use this, the more dynamic it becomes. Every time you open this sheet, it will run a script and it will take a snapshot for the month of where you're at on these different metrics, your portfolio value, income, monthly income, portfolio yield, net contributions, dividends received. It will update all of that. And then as you continue to build that data, it will help feed these other metrics that we're looking at, like on the dashboard, your income growth, your portfolio yield. Those things will begin to populate because what you're doing is every month you're getting a snapshot. If you open this, it doesn't take the snapshot every time. It runs a script every time, but if you've already got the snapshot for the month, it won't do it again. So this way it doesn't get clogged down with tons and tons of snapshots, because if you open this 30 times in a day, you'd have 30 different snapshots. That gets cumbersome. That's not really what you're trying to track. So it takes one snapshot a month. You don't have to worry about it. It does it automatically every time you open this portfolio. That is the portfolio manager that we've created. We're going to be adding some more dynamic tools to this in the next version, but this is a great start to get going, to begin to track your information. But there's one thing you have not seen, and I promised you I was going to give you 7 numbers that I look at, and I've only shared 6. And this one is really important to me. So that brings us to the 7th number I wanted to share with you that I look at. And because the goal isn't just collecting income, the goal is increasing it. And the 7th one that I look at is right here, is the income growth. You know, this is just all out of whack right now because I've just been playing around, throwing numbers in there and all. But what it will do is it will take that snapshot month over month, and it will show you how is your income growing. Is it going up? Is it going down? And it will begin to build that for you. So once you have 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we'll be able to track that, and it'll show you your income growth. And one of the things we're going to be adding in version 2 is we'll have the year over year, and we'll also have a tracking so you can see each month and be able to track that, because maybe it only went up 1% this month, but year over year it's up 7%. Whatever the case might be, we want to be able to see a more dynamic view. But for now, as we're building this, we have income growth. It's just looking from the last timestamp, and that should give you a quick overview of how are you doing? How are you progressing? We're going to be looking and adding that because we want to be able to see not only what is it doing now, but what is the CAGR of your income growth? Because I don't want to just see where it came in last month. I want to see where it is from last year and where it is when I began doing this and built this. So as we continue to do this and build this, please feel free, throw in some comments, some things you'd like to see, some features you're like, hey, what if you added this? This is how we make this more dynamic and how we make it curtailed to what you're looking for and meeting the needs of your tracking of your portfolio. I love building these, and I love improving them for you and making them fit the needs you have and helping you track and improve your investing journey. So don't forget to grab a copy down below at Buy Me a Coffee in the description. I appreciate all your comments. The best way you can support our channel is hit that like and subscribe button and leave me a couple comments. I appreciate you, and we will see you next time on Simply Money.